Hello everyone and welcome to episode 137 of the WMMA 5 series here on the channels. It's Pride 46, Frightnight 2, Electric Boo, as it's Blake Frederickson versus Ramino Sato for the lightweight title. In our main event, we also are going to have a women's championship matchup on the co-main, as Vanessa Porto taking on Shayna Baszler, I want to say, as far as I just want to double check real quick. Yeah, that is correct. And also, Rampage versus Vanderlei Silva. Hell of a fight. Josh Barnett, Tim Sylvia, another great fight. We got a former welterweight champion, Luis Santos, taking on Chris Lytle. As well on that main card. This is a pretty big card. I'm excited to see how it all plays out, as we have two title matches on the two title fights, rather, on the main card. Pretty big. It's a pretty big card. We're trying to make those numbered pay-per-views a pretty big deal. Obviously, besides Shockwave, which we're getting closer and closer to Shockwave. We're just 5 shows left of 2009, and then we'll be into the final year of the save, 2010. And by the end of 2010, we'll be officially 10 years of a WMA 5 save. And that will be all she wrote for this series. I can't believe we're almost at the end. I know we've delayed it a lot of times. The first idea was to end when Pride FC folded. So that happened in 2007. Obviously, we kept it going. I was like, we'll keep it going until 2010. And I thought it was going to stop right when we got into 2010. But I felt like that wouldn't be the best way to go about it, because you might as well finish out the decade so you can have a decade worth of Pride FC. Just felt like that was a great idea. So that's what we're going to do. That is set in stone. That's it. We're not going to go on any longer. I think that would be the perfect place to end it. But for the male, 12 pieces of mail. Frankie Edgar joined a American Jiu-Jitsu Academy. Shinya Aoki wants to fight Charles Bennett, and we're going to make that happen. I believe that will be at the first worldwide of 2010, as that's going to be a hell of a worldwide, though. Uriah Fabe is going to be in the main event against Joe Stevenson. Should be a fun main event. Sergey Kretnov has left Team Vistian, and then Carlos Newton has been extended, so has Gleison Tebow. Chris Lehman wants to fight Michael Bisping. We've had this fight be recommended a lot, but we're going to make it happen for the Decade of Destruction show for Pride 47. Simi Chalette's left Golden Glory. Josh Thompson's left Team Punishment, has joined CSW. We signed Jennifer Tate from Smack Girl. As far as she's on a 3-fight win streak, 6-3 right now. We'll see how she does. For her, she's a flyweight, a little bit on the smaller side, from Stockton, California, though. So we'll see how that goes. Jermaine Durandamy's left Voss Gym, and then we extended the Karate Hottie, Michelle Watterson. As for obviously, the main card, we ran through it a little bit. But, as far as Blake Frederickson, Ramino Sato for the lightweight title. Also, Shayna Baszler versus Vanessa Porto, the rematch there for the women's championship as the co-main event. Rampage Jackson versus Vanderlei Silva. This is a main event fight anywhere in the world. But we're throwing it here right before the title fights. Incredibly awesome fight there. That should be a lot of fun. Josh Barnett and Tim Sylvia, though. That's some ginormous heavyweights. Same thing with Rico Rodriguez and Roy Nelson. We got two guys that are above 250 pounds going at it, and that is going to be a hell of a heavyweight fight there, especially that Barnett-Sylvia fight. Rico Rodriguez and Roy Nelson should be fun, though, too. Roy Nelson's been knocking people out. That should be exciting. And Luis Santos taking on Chris Lytle. Chris Lytle's been on an absolute tear in that welterweight division. He's getting a huge opportunity there to take on a former welterweight champion. And Luis Santos in our prelims, Eddie Alvarez and Rafael Dos Anjos. That is a hell of a fight there in the lightweight division. But Brock Lesnar and Daniel Puder. Yeah, a fight that had to happen. Poor Brock, though, he got destroyed by Shane Carwin, but now he's bouncing back, taking on Daniel Puder here. Obviously, Daniel Puder has been Mr. Just fucking unpredictability. Thought he was going to lose to Mark Hunt, he knocked him out. Thought he was going to lose to Shane Carwin, rather, and he beats him. He choked him out, too. So MMA math would dictate that he was going to get the win. It's crazy the people that he has fought, though. Fabrizio Verdum, Czech Congo, Mark Hunt, Frank Mir, Alexander Emelianenko, Shane Carwin, Junior Dos Santos, fucking Butterbean. It's crazy, all of his fights, too, besides the Marcio Cruz fight. All of them have been either good, great, and fantastic, with the Butterbean fight, which, it was pretty electric. But, that should be a hell of a card. I'm super excited for a lot of these fights. As, a lightweight title fight for Ramino Sato, his first chance to defend his newly won belt, as he's taking on Blake Frederickson, who's been on a tear as of late. Ramino Sato has submitted 4 of his last 5 opponents. It's fourth time that Ramiro Sato's main event a Pride event. Second time for Blake Frederickson. Both are welterweights. As Ramiro Sato's first, Frederickson seventh. Frederickson trains at Greg Jackson's Mixed Martial Arts, which Ramiro Sato is 1-0 against other members of that team. Frederickson's won 3 of his last 5 fights by decision. So we have someone who's been getting submission wins. We got someone who's been going the distance from almost a majority of their fights. Majority of their fights. But Black Cat's that pick still have Blake Frederickson getting a win, 7-0. Not one person backing the newly crowned champion in Ramiro Sato. Blake Frederickson though, 3-0, 17-5. He's beaten Toby Mata, he's beaten Gleice Tibau, and of course he had the split decision win against Josh Nero, which is kind of crazy to think. But he's lost to Dean Thomas in the past. Of course he had that, as far as avenging that loss to Gleice Tibau with that win there in December at the Pride FC Worldwide 23. This is a big opportunity though. This is really his first major event because the Bushido and Osaka show, that's pretty big, but had the worldwide tapings, and now he's a part of the, as far as the main event of a major pay-per-view like this. It's big. And from Ramiro Sato, the Moonwolf himself, 7-1 now. His only loss has been to Josh Thompson, and obviously this lightweight division, there's no easy wins and no easy fights for basically the top 10, maybe even top 15, if you want to go that far. But he's been on a roll after losing to Josh Thompson. But, he beat Joaquim Hansen, a guy that's like a top 10 guy now. Beat Dean Thomas. He's beaten Gilbert Melendez. Other than that, the Charles Bennett win by a twister is pretty awesome. But, really not a high level of guys. So I think this is definitely winnable for Blake Frederickson. But that lightweight division, that's a tough division. You have now Jose Aldo's finally in the top 10, so you got to deal with him. Uriah Faber's now been signed. Dominic Cruz is still waiting for his debut. That's, obviously someone that's not necessarily a lightweight guy, but now looking to go into the lightweight division, and a lot of tough names. Conor McGregor, of course, now a part of the roster. So is Khabib. You have just a killer's row in that lightweight division, and it's getting better and better as the day passes. The Queen of Spades, Shayna Baszler, taking on Vanessa Porto. Porto, of course, looking to make her second defense, if successful. Of course, that'd be a new record for the belt since she's the first ever champion. Of course, going into, the main event to crown the first ever women's champion, Vanessa Porto won by submission. Porto submitted 4 of her last 5 opponents, rather, and then Shayna Baszler submitted 3 of her last 5 opponents. 2 of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world on the women's side of things. Number 1 for Vanessa Porto, 3rd for Shayna Baszler. Porto, though, has the Blurcast pick 6-1 with Mark backing Baszler, though. I think it's very close, but obviously Vanessa Porto has just been an absolute savage, and she's the only one to have lost, as far as her only loss for Shayna Baszler against Vanessa Porto, but she's beaten some top names, Aaron Tuffield, Tara La Rosa, had the Roxanne Modafferi fight, which was fun, and the Rosie Sexton fight, tough opponent, Rosie Sexton, she got the win there in the first round. She could win a lot of different ways, though. Armbar, Kimura, rear naked choke. She's got a lot of tools in the toolbox for her to apply herself. And the Vanessa Porto, though, 5-0, 13-0 as a whole, has not lost yet. Has fought, the best of the best as well. And she's also, in the same breath, someone that could win with an armbar, with a Kimura, with a rear naked choke, even a Von Flue choke. That's a very, very fun fight, though. They've not had really any bad fights, either of them. So that, honestly, this could have been the main event. Probably should have been, honestly. But it's the way the cookie crumbles, I guess. But that's a fun fight. I can't wait to see that. And speaking of fun fights, though, you got 2 absolute savages in there, 2 mainstays of the actual Pride FC. Quentin Rampage Jackson, the Axe Murderer, Vanderlei Silva. First time we have had them fight here in the mod. We should have probably had this happen about 5 years ago, but here we are. It's 2009, and we're going to have it, though. But for Rampage, he's 13-7-1, 12-7-1, of course, in Pride FC, because he only had, 1 fight before we signed him. It did not look good here in the mid-2000s, though. I say that, as far as losing to Chuck, which is tough, though. He basically was going to be, as far as beating Murillo and Rich Franklin, had a hell of a run. They had the Liddell fight, lose. Knocked out Ron Fairclough, though, in 12 seconds. Split draw with Silva, then got knocked out. Couldn't even avenge the loss. Allen goes, gets tapped out, as far as loses to the armbar, but bounces back, though, luckily, and fought some tough guys, get some wins. The Murillo rematch didn't go his way. Fought Lee Murray, another tough guy. Yuki Kondo, at least, was able to bounce back and beat Yuki Kondo, then lost in the rematch to Ron Faircloth. Got submitted. This is, it's crazy. He's been on, in the past 5 shows, 4 of them have been worldwides, and most of the time he's main evented them. So that's, pretty big for him to be able to take that onto the main card of a pay-per-view. It's very exciting, but you can see there, as far as, it's only a 1 poor fight, and that was the Silva fight, the split draw one. Excited. Very, very excited to see how this goes. Vanderlei, of course, 12-6, 22-8, was the man up until 2003. And then it just fell apart for him. He had a couple of tough fights, lost to Chuck, gave him a rematch against Dan Anderson, which he also got knocked out. Then we threw Big Nog at him, so he probably shouldn't have had the Big Nog fight. I believe something fell out where we had to throw in, Rampage, we had to throw Vanderlei at Big Nog, but he should not have fought Antonio Rodrigo Nogueira. Nobody tried to give him like a heavyweight, like kind of super fight idea, and shouldn't have been it. And we should have gave him somebody else for Shockwave. Then, Vitor Belfort knocks him out in 19 seconds. Another TKO loss. This should have been a win for Vanderlei Silva, and he loses the Ronaldo Brawl. Luckily, though, goes to rings, gets, some wins back underneath his belt, gets his confidence back. Beats Forrest Griffin and Nate Marcotten. We thought maybe, potentially could have the Cinderella story getting the first middleweight title run since 2003. 2004, actually. But, no, of course, he loses to Anderson Silva, who's been an absolute savage. Should be a hell of a fight, though. Both guys could use a win. Both guys have really nothing to prove. They know they're some of the most dangerous and top-level strikers in the division, and should be just an absolute slugfest. But yeah, both fighters are world-ranked light heavyweights, of course. Vanderlei's 5th. Rampage is 24th. Jackson trains at Lion's Den, which Silva has over a record of 2-0 against other members of that team. So, Vanderlei does have the Bloodcast Epics advantage 6-1. So we'll see what happens for Vanderlei, though. I mean, he's riding a better wave of momentum than Rampage is, so I'll probably give him the advantage. But 2 of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world battling it out here on the main card, and the babyface assassin Josh Barnett taking on Tim the Maniac Silva. As Tim Sylvia, he is obviously a ginormous man in the fact that he is significantly bigger than Josh Barnett, has a better reach than Josh Barnett, but he's still giving up the loss according to the Bluegrass that pick 6-1 with Sean backing Tim Sylvia. Tim Sylvia, 50-2, 7-2 as a whole. Just lost to Ben Rothwell, but of course, you got a current heavyweight champion, Ben Rothwell, and he's beaten him before. Of course, at Frightnight 38, our first one 2 years ago. But then Alistair Overeem, the loss there to Overeem, which, Alistair Overeem's a savage as well. It's crazy. It's crazy to think, where Tim Sylvia can be if he beats Josh Barnett here. Of course, Josh Barnett, 24-9, 30-8 as a whole, though, in Pride FC, which is kind of funny to think. So as far as his losses, he lost to Ice Cold Igor, Big Nog, Pete Williams, Arvlovsky, Sergey. If it wasn't for the Mario Sperry win, it's kind of crazy to think where his career would have ended up, because it took him a little while to get back on track. Thought he was going to win the final conflict as far as the heavyweight Grand Prix. Of course, Sergey beats him, and then he beats Savachka. Has another rematch with Big Nog, which he loses. Fights Big Ben Rothwell, which he loses. And at least he's on a 3-fight winning streak going into this fight here with Tim Sylvia. This is huge implications, though, for the heavyweight division. This is big. That's a big-time fight. And Luis Santos taking on Chris Lights Out Lytle in our welterweight contest, as Luis Santos has finished 3 of his last 5 opponents. Chris Lytle trains at Henzo Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, as well as a record of 1-0 against other current members of that team. Santos is the 4th-ranked welterweight in Pride FC. Chris Lytle, 16th. Chris Lytle has won 3 of his last 5 fights by decision. The first time they have fought, though. And Luis Santos, 4-3 on the Blurcast Epic, so very, very close, especially for someone like Luis Santos, who's 7-4 in Pride FC, 18-9 as a whole. Sure, he lost to Thiago Alves, and sure, he's lost to Damian Mayan, as far as he's had 2 losses out of his last 3 fights. But the man has beaten John Alessio. He's a former welterweight champion. He's beaten Dennis Hallman twice now. He's beaten George St. Pierre. He's beaten Jason Von Flue. He's beaten some tough guys. It's just crazy he lost to Kira Kikuchi, but that's besides the point. And Thiago Alves is an absolute savage. So obviously he's got a welterweight title fight coming up. And Thiago Alves, he's taking on GSP in November. So that's, as far as no small, defeat there. And then for Chris Lytle, a guy who was on a tear, had to take on George St. Pierre, though, and he lost to GSP. Of course, obviously now GSP, the welterweight champion, so no small defeat there. But it's crazy to think where he was before we signed him at 16-9-4. It's like, yeah, we'll take a flyer on him. I personally love Chris Lytle and wanted to sign him, but not the greatest of records when you're wanting to sign somebody like that. But we gave him some somewhat easy opponents. The Jake Ellenberg fight was at least close, I think, on the betting lines from what I remember. Yeah, I mean, it was an upset. So he was the underdog going into that fight. And then Ryan Stout, which Ryan Stout hasn't been that great. And same thing for Eara Sakura. But the GSP fight was really his first big test. And he got that win. Or he didn't get the win, rather. Excuse me. He lost to him, but he still had a big fight with him. And at least it went the distance. He didn't get finished or anything. He's 36, so he doesn't have a lot of more of these, as far as any more of these big-time fights. This might be the end of the road for him. This is a good fight for both guys, though. Both guys need it. They need a win. As Rico Suave Rodriguez taking on Roy Big Country Nelson. Nelson has finished 4 of his last 5 fights there, and then both are world-ranked super heavyweights. Rodriguez is 12th, Nelson's 18th. Surprised Rico Rodriguez is the favorite, to be honest, on the Blurcast stat pick. So Roy Nelson has been on a tear. Been knocking people out, getting some big wins. He's 9-4. The Bobby Hoffman loss was interesting because I didn't think he was going to lose to Bobby Hoffman, but he's beaten Frank Mir, he's beaten Seth Petrozelli, he's beaten Czech Congo, Fedor Emelianenko. Like, he knocked out Fedor in 12 seconds, just crazy. A lot of first-round finishes. He's someone you do not take lightly at all. He is an absolute savage in there. Should be an exciting fight with Rico Rodriguez. Which Rico, he's 5-4 in Pride FC. It's not the greatest records, but you see the guys he's fought. Like, out of the 4 losses, he lost to Sergey. Fedor, crazy to think he's lost to Fedor, so MMA math would dictate that Roy Nelson's going to win this fight. And then Pete Williams has always been a savage. He's fought multiple times for the heavyweight title. Choked out Arlovsky back in July. But this is, a big fight for both those guys to help elevate them and try to get them into the right direction. Both have beaten Frank Mir as well. So the prelims, as Eddie Alvarez taking on Rafael dos Anjos. It's a fun fight. These two guys obviously become quite legendary in the lightweight division as far as in the next decade. Eddie Alvarez, 12-6 as a whole, 1-4 in Pride FC in his first run, but he just won the lightweight Grand Prix in rings when we signed him. Yeah, that was back in March, so it's been a while, but obviously when you fight 4 times in 3 months, it's a lot. We want to give him a nice break, but he's beaten like Gray Maynard, Frankie Edgar, Michael Johnson, Donald Cerrone, Alberto Crane. Like, he's beaten some tough guys, and he even has fought some tough guys. Like, Clay Guida's a savage. Katsuya Inoue is a tough guy to crack in that lightweight division, and so is Calavante, too. He's a tough guy to crack. The Gomi loss was tough, but that was back, of course, when we were doing 5 rounds, or doing the 2 5-minute rounds, not even doing the 3rd round, so maybe that fight would have went a different way. But it's an exciting return for Eddie Alvarez, but he's taken on an absolute unit in Rafael dos Anjos. 4-0, 3-0 as a whole in Pride FC. He hasn't really had a lot of fights, though. It's been almost a little over, close to 2 years, as far as his last fight. He's only fought the Brazilian Bushido cards. Not fought the best of talent, so that's a little telling for Rafael dos Anjos. I wouldn't mind taking a fly on Eddie Alvarez, depending on what the over-under is, as far as, I'm bet he's like a plus 200, maybe 150. In our first prelim fight, and a fight I'm very much looking forward to seeing, Brock Lesnar versus Daniel Puder. Brock is the favorite, 5-2 though. It's a crapshoot. Absolute crapshoot there. Of course, we saw that Brock's lost to Shane Carwin, and Daniel Puder choked out Shane Carwin, so MMA math would dictate that Puder's going to get the win, but Brock's so goddamn big. I don't know if he's going to be able to wrestle him down. We'll see. Both guys, their strengths are about the same, but I would say Brock has a little bit more of a higher pedigree, though, obviously being a heavyweight champion, NCAA heavyweight champion for the University of Minnesota, but that's going to be a hell of a fight, though. It's close on the betting lines, minus 180, plus 140, Death Clutch Gym, of course, for Brock. Both are 6'3", which is a little heavier as Brock, and a little older. Yozo's a referee, ringside judges. Here we go. They clinch. Lesnar's the aggressor, trying to get him against the ropes. He's got him there. Hard stomp now. Oh, come on, Brock. You can't just keep him up against the ropes like this. You're just going to try to wear him down, use all that size and weight. Yozo separates them and they grapple again. There we go. Get the get the takedown. There we go, Brock. He's got side control. Looking for mount. Oh my god. He's got mount and he is raining down shots. What a ground and pound. Talk about absolute terrifying ground and pound. Holy shit. Yeah. Yeah, if Brock can do that to some top guys, he's going to be a problem. It's just getting him there is the thing, but that's a hell of a win. Daniel Fury didn't have a shot. That was crazy. Wow. Yeah, so Brock. Oh, he wants Jerome Lee Banner. Holy shit. Well, that would be definitely Styles Clash fight there. A high-level kickboxer versus high-level wrestler like Brock Lesnar. Fuck yeah. Awesome. Hell of a fight for Brock Lesnar. Eddie Alvarez and Rafael dos Anjos, 4-0, 12-6. Boxing, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai background. So both guys kind of have something on the ground, something standing for them, so that's fun as far as their styles. Similar age, but obviously, fight experience, siding with Eddie Alvarez, having almost, 18 fights, and be fight number 19 for him. Dos Anjos only has his 5th fight here, but he is the favorite, minus 260 for Dos Anjos, plus 200 for Eddie Alvarez. Yeah, I'd take that, plus 200. Eddie Alvarez is a bad man. Big John McCarthy's referee. Ringside judges, here we go. They touch gloves. Stand and trade. Nothing really gives or takes, though, from both guys. Now, Dos Santos is looking to clinch. Got him up against the ropes here, maybe? Nope. Eddie Alvarez fights it off. Now he's the one trying to get... Oh, no. Eddie Alvarez is now stuck against the ropes. So Dos Santos now looking to sweep him. He's got it. He's got side control. Oh, looking for the arm triangle already. Fights it off to Eddie Alvarez. He's now punching down. Gets blocked, though. See what Alvarez is going to do on his back. Dos Santos is a fucking problem, though. There's another arm triangle attempt. Now he's still a few left hands to take a moment of plan ahead. See if he just keeps him here. You figured, yeah, I'm about to say, Big John's going to stand him up, and he finally does. So they meet in the center here. Alvarez misses the hook, and here comes a counter. It's a brace of jabs followed by a good left hook. Of course, Dos Santos a southpaw. And he's looking to at least set up a nice 1-2 here, but he misses the vicious right hand misses the vicious left hand, rather, after the right hand. Alvarez is able to grab him now. See what he can do up against the ropes. Looking for a trip. Alvarez gets stopped. That's not good. And now he's got control up against the ropes. Oh boy. Yeah, there's a trip. Yeah, I mean, Rafael dos Anjos is a problem. It's just all I'm seeing here. So he's punching down on him. He's looking for Kimura. Fights it off again. He's not being able to finish him, but he's definitely won the round. Now he's looking for mount. It's a scramble. Oh, dos Anjos ends up holding him in the waistlock. Looking for a scramble. And losing out in the scramble. There's 3 quick elbows, not doing much damage to end out the round. Yeah, good thing I didn't actually bet, as far as on that plus 200 underdog and Eddie Alvarez, because he's going to fucking lose this fight the way it's going. We'll see what happens in the second. Coming forward, they're willing to take a few shots, gets close enough to wrestle now, catches him with the right hook after the jab. Counter jab from Dos Anjos, as there's a 2-punch combination from Alvarez. Misses both of them, though, as Dos Anjos comes up ready to attack here. Can't connect with the step strike, so there's a left hand, and there's a noticeable gash above the eye of Eddie Alvarez. Moving in close now. There's a weak tentative jab. Jab hits home. Scores the leg kick, though. Come together and strikes, but neither fighter can do any damage. Another clinch. Trying to muscle against the ropes. Does himself be driven back. Second half now. Trying to get him up against the ropes. Got him up against the ropes. Looking for the trip. And it's a sweep. Got him on his back. See what we can do. A few weak-looking punches decides his next move. Now looking for the arm triangle again. I mean, it's going to be another round win for... Now, there's a hard elbow strike that landed right on his cheek, though. Oh, God. All right, before the end of the round, what else is he going to do with these elbows? No, that's it for Rafael dos Santos in the second. But, yeah, Eddie Alvarez is going to need a miracle if he's going to win this one. Wow, there's some boos from the crowd. I don't know, if you saw someone get his fucking elbow right into the cheek. Now I'm trying to stop the cut, though. Eddie Alvarez is going to need a miracle. Trying to get him against the ropes, that's not going to happen, though. Yep. Oh, well, look at Eddie Alvarez. He's not giving up, though. And there's a knee strike to the body. Trying to get him against the ropes. Again, Eddie Alvarez standing tall. Until now. There's a hard foot stomp looking for the trip. Yeah, just couldn't stop any takedowns. A few right hands. Or a few left hands, rather. Excuse me. Now looking for a scramble. Oh, scrambles to his feet, but Dos Santos immediately tries to drive him against the ropes. Looking for the sweep. That's, yep, another sweep. Minute left. I mean, Rafael dos Anjos won this one. A couple of elbows, but nothing really happening. But yeah, Rafael dos Anjos setting up to 5-0. Would love to see what he can do against a ranked guy now, probably. As far as 5-0, that's pretty impressive. And he pretty much systematically destroyed Eddie Alvarez for the entire fight. 5-5 on takedowns. Couldn't get the finish, but, you know, yeah, Eddie Alvarez again. Not doing great in Pride FC. As gives a name trick that went hit squad, all of his favorite sponsors, all of his friends, famous sports. He has a lot of respect for Eddie Alvarez. Praises his toughness. Yeah, he did survive. You have to give him that. Now, Rico Suave Rodriguez against Roy Big Country Nelson here. Main card fight for Rico Rodriguez and Roy Big Country Nelson to start off the card. 20-7, 9-4, very close to the betting lines. Plus 120 for Roy Nelson. Now this, I would take a plus 120 underdog in Roy Nelson. He's got a fight camp, which Rico Rodriguez does not have. He's a little bigger. I think he's better standing. We'll see what happens. Yamasaki's referee, though. If someone's going to die, opening bell, they touch gloves. And there's a fantastic right cross. Knocks him out. Roy Nelson, we got to give him somebody even better than Rico Rodriguez. He was 12th as a super heavyweight in the world, and he's 11th as a heavyweight. We got to give him a top 10 guy. How about that? Roy Nelson, 10-4. That's unreal. That would have been easy money, though. For us, 11 seconds. And we probably would have took not only him to win, but him by knockout, because, Roy Nelson, but god damn. That's crazy. What a way to start off the show. As, he praises his fight camp. All of his sponsors supporting him financially. Yeah, I don't know what his stats are, but his knockout power is going to be like 100, it seems like. Jesus Christ. It's Luis Santos and Chris Lytle as 18-9, 19-4. Similar records. Just a little bit more fights for Chris Lytle. So here we go. Our, now our only welterweight fight on the main card. Plus 130 for Lytle. Minus 170, so it's very close on the betting lines. Gracie Fusion, Henzo Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. So we got Gracie versus Gracie for the fight camps. Muay Thai Jiu-Jitsu background, boxing Jiu-Jitsu background. This is a fun fight, though, on paper. I was really excited to see how this fight is going to play out. Big John's our referee, ringside judges. Look at the strike is Santos. Lytle's looking to grapple, but couldn't take the initiative. Lands the left jab and misses the body kick. Oh, man, he's trying to get a combination in with a high right head kick, and he even catches that last kick. Let's see what Lytle can do. Can't really do anything. So got him against the rope. Santos taking a hard stomp. Looking for the trip. It's a beautiful trip. See what he can do now in control. Just kind of land strikes and land strikes. Not really doing a whole lot. Trying to get pushed back thanks to the butterfly guard. And now Santos is quickly trying to scramble. It's a bad idea, though. So now Lytle's able to keep forward and get a side control. Looking for the knee bar. Santos blocks it, though. Looking for Kimura. Oh, and he's got it. How about that? Chris Lytle wins by submission. What a huge Kimura victory there for Chris Lytle. Man, 20th win, too. Beats a former welterweight champion, Luis Santos. Fuck. That's huge. Absolutely huge. It's night of the underdogs, as so far, as Lytle thanks everyone connected to Enzo Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, helping him prepare for the fight, and his sponsors for supporting him financially. About to finish, Lytle reveals he's been working on that submission in particular during training. He's happy that all that hard work paid off. It's a huge win. Babyface Assassin, Josh Barnett taking on Tim the Maniac Sylvia, as Tim Sylvia, 15-2, Bendorf, Iowa. Josh Barnett, Seattle, Washington, catch wrestling background, 24-9, Death Clutch Gym, AMC Pankrington. Plus 240 for Tim Sylvia. Minus 310 for Josh Barnett. I figured it'd be a little closer than that, especially with someone that's 6'8", 265. That is ginormous. We'll see. We will see. Because especially, I think, stand-up-wise, I think Tim Sylvia has the advantage. Yozo's a referee, and it's just comical. As Tim Sylvia is just much taller than Josh Barnett is. Round one begins. They touch gloves. They meet in the center. Barnett misses the right hook. Here comes a counter with a left jab and a great right hook from Tim Sylvia. As he is doing a great job by countering. As there's a left jab that finds his right cross blocked. Both hitting their jabs there. They come together and strike. Here comes the right hook that misses. Here comes a counter with a jab and a head kick that nearly misses. Engage. Sylvia slipping past the right hook. Attacks with a jab and a big right hand that just misses. Right hook's blocked. Good head movement from Barnett, bobbing and weaving out of the strikes. There's a left jab and a right hand's blocked. Soft start with a jab. It hits a glancing blow with a high kick. They meet in the center again. Barnett misses the big right hand, pulling him off balance and allowing Sylvia to attack with a left cross. Another right cross from Sylvia after the miss. 3 punches, but Sylvia has a good guard, absorbs all of them now. Sylvia can't catch him as far as he's trying to hit him with some strikes, but getting good head movement, bobbing and slipping out of him. Coming forward again, 2 fighters stand to trade blows. Counter left, but doesn't connect, though, from Barnett. Lands 2 jabs, but a big right head kick is wide of the mark. Yeah, if any of these guys land a head kick, it's over. Now, you're just too goddamn big to be throwing a head kick. Misses a big right hand, pulling him off balance, and here comes Barnett with a kick to the lead leg. Halfway point in the round. Missing exchange strikes. There's a counter jab from Barnett. Coming together again, missing the right hook. Here comes a counter with a left jab and a right hook. Exchange of strikes doesn't produce any damage here. Moving well. Definitely breathing a little heavier, though. Can't get past the good guard, though, of Tim Sylvia. 2 punches were simply absorbed. Look up, showing off the good guard again, absorbing the 2-punch flurry. Soft target, the jab hits the right hand. There's a clean right hand from Sylvia. Trying to throw a counter jab and misses. 1-2, but Barnett avoids both of them. Slipping past the hook here as Sylvia. As he connects with a jab and a right hand that nearly fails to connect, though. There's a missing the right hook and gets kind of the jab and a good right hook from Sylvia. There's a left jab and misses the right hand. There's a great right hook from Tim Sylvia. Minute left. Can they get something going? There's some left and rights. Buys and is left on a open on a feint attempt. Does Barnett. Doesn't land any of the strikes from Tim Sylvia. Counter jabs from Barnett. Can't connect with the set of strikes and lands the big right hand. And that's the end of the first round. Interesting round. Not a whole lot happening, unfortunately. I'd probably say slight advantage to Tim Sylvia since he landed more power shots. And he also just landed more strikes in general. We'll see what happens. Surprised no one even tried to go for a takedown. Maybe that'll be changed here in the second. Left jab doesn't connect with the right hand. That's Josh Barnett. Scores the jab and doesn't have the reach though for the hook to the body though. There's a left cross. Barnett hits a jab and also hits the left roundhouse kick rather than the body. A few gulps of breath now as Barnett's will give it the first hit and he's starting to tire. You meet in the center. There's missing the hook and leaves himself open for a counter with a left kick to the ribs. A little fatigue starting to creep in for Tim Sylvia. Does the connect with the left jab, but it scores with the right cross. There's a clean right hand from Barnett. Halfway point in the second round now, missing the jab, or hits the jab rather, misses the big right hand. There's a jab, has the right hand blocked. Come together and strikes. There's a big right hand, pulling him off balance, allowing Sylvia to attack with the left jab. Connects, nearly fails to connect with the right hand. As there's a left jab, but doesn't connect with the low kick. As he finds his way past his opponent's guard, looking for a sharp 1-2 there from Barnett. Tim Sylvia getting tired out. He might have cost him this victory here, depending on what happens in the third, because Barnett did a lot in that second round. I think he won the round, but I don't think he's going to do enough, maybe as a whole, because obviously this fight's graded on the entire fight, not just by round basis. But we'll see what happens in the third. Flurry of strikes, nothing really happens, though. I think just Tim Sylvia's a little too tired to land anything big. Yeah, he's off target with a jab and can't connect with the right cross. Tim Sylvia just trying to clinch to get up some time. Barnett's trying to lock Sylvia now into a Muay Thai clinch. See if he's trying to get it. Oh, he's got him. Trying to wrestle free of it after blocking the knee strike. Yeah, nothing's really happening. There's a leg kick. Trying to go for it, but doesn't connect. Off target with the jab. Also has the right hand taking on the gloves. Barnett doesn't connect rather, the left jab, but scores a glancing blow with a high kick. There's a left jab and a right cross from Sylvia. Sylvia looking to come in here as far as 2 minutes left. He's got to give everything he's got. There's a left hand, but misses the low kick. Doesn't have much left in the tank, though. Misses the right hook, and here comes a counter with a great right hook. Oh, my God. Ragged-looking takedown attempt from a visibly tired Barnett, but he's got it. It's a single leg. Let's see what he can do off of the single leg. Looking for a leg lock, can you imagine? Oh, my God. That would have been nuts. That's an interesting fight, though. We'll see how the judges score it. All 3 to Sylvia. I think if you're Barnett's camp, you might think that you had a shot. But not a great fight, though. It kind of died down by expectations. But he gets the win, though. 16-2 for Tim Sylvia. Another upset. Yeah, I was shocked to see how far it was on the betting line, because I figured it was going to be a lot closer than that, as it gives a name check to AMC Pinkerton. All his various sponsors, all of his friends, family, and supporters. Says it was a tough fight and gives a share of respect to Josh Barnett. So our last non-title fight here on the main card, Quentin Rampage Jackson, the Axe Murderer, Vanderlei Silva. Plus 300 for Rampage. Minus 380 for Vanderlei. This is not going to be for the faint of heart. Yamasaki's a referee. Yeah, probably not the guy we want to referee this fight, because someone will die. Someone's going to get murdered, as, oh man, a noticeable lack of usual touching of gloves. Yeah, they do not like each other. Sylvia misses the right hook and leaves himself open for a counter. It's a vicious right cross. He knocks him down. Rampage looking for the finish, but Sylvia's up to... Now you got Tim Sylvia on the brain. Vanderlei Silva gets back up. Look at Vanderlei. Left hook. Oh, massive right hook on the jaw. Rampage knocks him out. Holy shit. Rampage Jackson does it. 14-7-1. The Night of the Underdogs keeps it going. Holy shit, what a fight, though. That was fun. A couple of knockdowns. He knocks him out there. He wants Ryan Jensen. Says it'd be fun to kick his ass for money when he'd happily do it for free. It's pretty great. Someone should definitely say that during a call out. This Rampage is good with these interviews. Yeah, Rampage is awesome in those interviews. Come main event, women's title fight. Queen of Spades, Shayna Baszler. Vanessa Porto, the undefeated Vanessa Porto, has been on an absolute tear. This should be a very fun fight that we'll see if the rematch will go Vanessa Porto's way, or we might potentially have a trilogy on our hands if Shayna Baszler can get the win here. North Country Fight Club shooter box, though, for Vanessa Porto. Here, oh my god, Mario Yamasaki's staying out there. Every time Yamasaki's ref a fight, though, someone's been violently knocked out. Well, we'll see it here. I doubt it, though. Both kind of just submission-based and grappling-based. So I doubt we'll see a knockout here, but you never know. Round one begins. Over-under in the clinch. Baszler's trying to take her down. She's got it. Side control. Two right hands down, trying to pull guard. Not happening. Shayna Baszler looking for the Kimura. That would have been nuts if she got it right then and there. She still is in control, though. Fires off some punches now. Blocks attempt to pull guard. Yamasaki's going to stand him up. They're going to go right back down, though, I'm assuming. Yeah. Oh, well, Vanessa Porto fights off. I thought she was going to get her up against the ropes. Does it again. Baszler looking for the trip, though. Gets blocked. Man, look at Shayna Baszler go. Tremendous first round for Shayna Baszler. She has been in complete control. Clings very tightly, though, to Vanessa Porto. Not trying to get caught. Well, she might. Yep. She did. That is unfortunate. Vanessa Porto got her ass kicked for 8 minutes. Well, 7 to be exact, actually. 7 minutes and 5 seconds. She gets the armbar from the bottom, and that's all she wrote. That is unfortunate. That's a tough one to lose. 14-0 for Vanessa Porto. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu coming out in the end there. That's tough. Man. As she gets an in, check that out. A shooter box, all very responsive, all of our friends, famous supporters. About the finish. That's about the finish. Vanessa Porto reveals that she's been working on that submission in particular during the training, and says very happy to have all that hard work pay off. In our main event for the lightweight title here for Pride FC, 17-5, Blake the Snake Frederickson looking to continue that undefeated streak in Pride FC to take on the newly crowned lightweight champion in Ramino Sato. Tokyo, Japan, White Rock, British Columbia. Long way from home. 5'6", 161, 5'10", 161. This should be an exciting one. The favorite is the challenger at a -310 favorite. We'll see what happens. Greg Jackson's mixed martial arts for Blake Frederickson. Paresta for Ramino Sato. Yamasaki's our main event referee. Sato, of course, being in front of the home crowd, gets a loud cheer for our main event. Here they go. They touch gloves. Sato looking for the takedown. He's got it. Oh, but the guillotine, though, he had his head stuck in there. That would have been it. That would have been quite the way to lose a belt. As now Sato blocks Frederickson. He tries to get enough separation here to try and scramble, but not giving up any room for his opponent here to work with. But again, look for the armbar from the bottom. That'd been crazy if both title fights ended like that. But Sato defends it. Look for it again. Sato keeps on fighting it off. Frederickson just going to keep on throwing arm bars. I don't blame him. You got to do something from the bottom, but at the same time, not really working out. There's a scramble, though. Frederickson's trying to get up with he's got a leg in, rather. Sato trying to grab it. Avoids the leg lock, though. Not a good idea from Ramino Sato, because now he's giving up that. But Ramino Sato looking for the arm. Can't get it, though. So both guys very, very got to beware of their submission threats from both their opponents. So it's not good, as Ramino Sato, he's got it, though. The armbar from the bottom, and he taps out Blake Frederickson. His first loss to the armbar there for Blake Frederickson. It's a nice night for the armbar. As if you're a champion, getting the win from the bottom, 28th win for Ramino Sato. Hell of a fight. I mean, I thought it was going to go the distance there for sure, but Ramino Sato shows why he is such a submission threat by getting another submission win. 3 submissions and 2 knockouts on the main card. Hell of a card on the finishes, really, besides the Tim Sylvia, Josh Barnett dud, which wasn't even a dud, really, just a decent fight, just, not a whole lot happening. But the prelims were fun too, in their own little way. Brock and Pewter, just seeing Brock Lesnar absolutely destroy someone. Hell of a fight card. Yeah, I mean, increased pop everywhere too. I'd say that was a great success. As performance bonuses for all the underdogs, which there was a lot. Rampage, Sylvia, Lytle, Roy Nelson. Big night there for the underdogs. Kind of want to give one to Brock. And yeah, Rafael Dos Anjos. I mean, Eddie Alvarez was even ranked. So a lot of performance bonuses for and I think Ramiro Sato for the maybe Porto, maybe maybe not. We'll probably just stick with the performance bonus for Ramiro Sato. We're giving up and we still made over $7.5 million with all that money gave out. But a couple of guys made a couple of 500,000. Brock 275, Sylvia 274. Not a bad night. And then for Daniel Pewter and Eddie Alvarez, they made about $2,500. Shayna Baszler was in the co-main. She made 12 grand. That's a tough break. Talk about being her fucking opponent made 250. Oh man, I hope Bobby Lashley wins that one. But that will do it for this episode. That Donald Cerrone Gray Maynard fight's fun. So that Muhammad Lawler and Masakatsu Funaki fight is interesting. Never thought I'd have to utter those words. But yeah, that was a hell of a card. That lived up to expectations. No new champions, but a lot of upsets on that main card. That was a lot of fun to see. Thank you all for watching, and we'll catch you guys next time. Take care, everyone.